Welcome back to Expedition Hollywood Studios, as this week we take a look at Muppet Vision 3D and the Muppet Land that never got built.
Wake me when the show starts.
It's already been on a while.
Wake me when it's over.
Muppet Vision, as the name suggests, is a 3D film based on the popular Muppets TV show, located at Disney's Hollywood Studios, now on Grand Avenue. While not much has changed with the attraction itself, it's what didn't happen surrounding this ride that makes this expedition interesting. Originally called Jim Henson's Muppet Vision, this attraction opened 2 years after the park first opened its doors on May 16, 1991.
The MGM Studios theme park is the happening place to be this summer with some hot new attractions, including the Disney Channel TV tryouts. This season's production of the Mickey Mouse Club. Meet a Mouse Club member at Star today. The Honey, I Shrunk the Kids movie set adventure. And Jim Henson's Muppet Vision 3D.
Muppet Vision was Disney World's third 3D film after Magic Journeys and Captain EO. It incorporates 3D special effects with in-theater 4D effects such as audio animatronics, lighting projections, smoke, and even a live, fully costumed performer. The ride's use of these different techniques often leads it to being called Muppet Vision 4D.
Plus, Disney and Jim Henson Productions have teamed up to produce the most incredible 3D movie effects ever created.
Hi there, I'm Jim Henson. This is Kermit the Frog here. Hi all.
The attraction was directed by Jim Henson himself, who created the Muppets and follows the storyline of Kermit the Frog guiding guests in the theatre on a tour through Muppet Studios. However, things don't quite go as planned and chaos quickly follows.
Chef, everything okay? Your machine is going to Exactly.
The show's film was one of the final Muppets projects that had the involvement of Henson himself, as he unfortunately died in 1990 before the production of the film was completed.
Oh, but Robin, all we have is silly songs and whoopee cushions.
Maybe that's enough. Well, that's what Uncle Kermit says. Take what you got and fly with it.
Fly with it? Kermit says that?
I think he learned it from Jim. You know, this Jim Henson may be gone, but maybe he's still here, too, inside us, believing in us.
The film itself began filming in January 1990. It was also one of the last with the involvement of veteran Muppet performer Richard Hunt, who died in 1992.
Jim did not cling to the past. He did not worry about the future. That would work itself out. And he did not live for the moment. Instead, he lived in the moment. Because that's all we really have.
The ride's queue line takes guests through Muppet Labs, home of Dr. Bunsen Honeydew and his assistant, Beaker. Here you pass several office doors featuring outrageous job descriptions, even one with a sign saying they have left for 5 minutes with a key under the mat. And there actually is a key stuck in the floor under the mat. As well as spoof movie posters featuring the Muppets, such as The Bride of Frankenstein and The Pig-Sidon Adventure. You then enter a large room filled with Muppet props and boxes with comical labels. This is where the television monitors show the ride's pre-show. Several of the Muppets are featured during the pre-show, and guests are reminded to take a pair of safety glasses before entering the theatre. The pre-show is the Muppets preparing for the main show, with Scooter attempting to organise the backstage crew while dealing with interruptions from the cast, complete with Rizzo the Rat attempting to pass off as Mickey Mouse. As well as this, a scrolling LED screen tells additional jokes as well as counting down to showtime. When this reaches 0, the theatre opens and riders are ushered into a reproduction of the Muppets Theatre from the Muppet Show. After, the audience is informed to don their safety goggles and the show begins. Nicky Napoleon and his Empire Penguins, which are audio animatronics in the pit, play an instrumental version of the Muppets theme song, and the ride's logo floats above the entrance. Kermit then talks about the acts they have on show and promises the audience they will not be showcasing any cheap 3D tricks, even though they will be demonstrating this new technology. This promise though obviously doesn't last long. As well as featuring the special effects, there are several audio animatronics inside the theatre, such as the penguins and Waldorf and Statler in their booth. Without spoiling too much of this show since it is still running, the basic premise is that Dr. Bunsen attempts to show off his inventions and he accidentally creates Waldo, a character who essentially spoils the variety show performances of the other Muppets, including Miss Piggy. While attempting to recapture Waldo, this leads to, shall we say, an explosive final featuring a fire truck and a live-acted Sweetums character in full costume. It is said that this actor, when the attraction first opened, would have to go through official Sweetums training from the Jim Henson's Muppet Company before they were able to don the costume. Some guests even complain that when the live Sweetums is out towards the end of the movie, he can also be seen on screen at the same time.
Sam, are you about ready?
Yes, it's a glorious 3-hour finale.
You got a minute and a half.
Wayne Allwine also has a cameo as Mickey Mouse in the attraction, the veteran voice actor of Mickey in many different TV and movies. The ride runs on a continuous loop using old technology which literally has a start and stop button. The show itself runs regardless of people being in the theatre or not. As for what has changed for the Muppets ride over the years, which is actually not that much, a few years after Disney's 2004 acquisition of the Muppets, Jim Henson's name was removed from the building's original sign. David Gumpel, director of the original pre-show, reported on his blog that he had directed a new version of the pre-show in November 2008 for an update for the attraction, promising something new for the Muppets at D23 in 2008, but this actually never happened. The only update since was the addition of Constantine in the pre-show for a segment for the movie Muppets Most Wanted. Most of the pre-show though now remains unchanged. In 2009, it was announced that Muppet Vision would receive an update at both the Florida and California park. The film would be remastered and reissued in Disney Digital 3D. In 2016 and 2017, other changes were made to the area, such as the removal of the Muppets balloon from the rooftop, hinted to be due to being visible within the new Star Wars land, and the re-theming of the exterior of the theatre to match the new Grand Avenue. The fire truck used in the film's final scene used to be situated around the corner from the attraction's exit. It has since been removed to make way for the Stage 1 company store. The store, which features Muppets merchandise, is great fun to work in if you love listening to the same Muppet songs on repeat for 8 hours a day. Trust me, I know. The attraction is housed in a large brick building with a clock tower which was designed to match the surrounding New York street area. It was intended to be the focal point of a plaza that would house MGM Studios' Muppet Studios subsection.
The Muppet Studios with a Muppet Vision 3D movie and the Muppets Movie Ride.
It'll be a backstage ride of explaining how movies are shot. And it's almost, but all the information is wrong.
However, a reported $150 million merger between Henson and Disney was called off in December 1990 when the two sides could not come to terms after Henson's untimely death in May of the same year. The Great Muppet Movie Ride was meant to be a parody of the park's own Great Movie Ride, and would have brought guests through a variety of movie set pieces in which the Muppets attempted to recreate scenes from classic movies, such as Frankenstein and Peter Pan. Seated next to the guests would be the Muppets, Statler and Waldorf, who are known for their heckling and ill-tempered opinions and would experience the misfortunes with the guests based on the different scenes. A few ideas for scenes in the ride would have been a scene spoofing the snow scene in Dr. Zhivago, and another western-themed portion of the ride which would feature horses making the sound of galloping with coconuts tied to their hooves. The Muppets Movie Ride was conceived to explain the way movies were produced, but with a Muppet spin. The Great Gonzo's Pandemonium Pizza Parlor was a concept that would be a restaurant run by Muppets, Gonzo and Rizzo. Part of the idea was to have animated Muppet rats deliver pizzas to tables on a train track system. Another feature included Gonzo being heard crawling through the ventilation ducts, as well as pandemonium in the kitchen with the Swedish chef. This would also include the occasional explosion, blowing open the doors of the kitchen and sending clouds of smoke and chicken feathers into the dining room. The walls of the restaurant would have been covered with recreation of props from Muppet Productions and featured various sight gags. The space originally intended for Pandemonium Pizza Restaurant became Mama Mauro's. Pizza Planet, which was later added opposite the attraction and was subsequently rethemed in 2016 to Pizza Rizzo, so it is nice to see that some form of the concept with Rizzo did make it to the park.
Oh, well, maybe it wasn't that good. Let's give it a 1.
This, though, is not the only Muppets attraction within Hollywood studios to ever exist, but we're going to be taking a look at that another time.
Such a beautiful...
Well, bears don't usually get to go in places like this.
Thanks a lot. It's great. Welcome, everyone. I'm in the lobby of the Grand Floridian...
Okay, who else can we get?
Although not as popular as it once was, this old attraction still charms guests and hopefully does for a few more years to come. Its location in between Star Tours and the new Star Wars land hopefully does not mean it will come under threat if they were looking to expand the land further. It's a shame that the merger between Disney and Jim Henson's fell through during the 90s, as the Muppets' take on the Great Movie Ride looks like it would have been a funny and charming take on the movies.
But, do you have something silly to end with?
Silly? Do we have something silly?
Oh, yeah.
Cue the production number. Fly with it.
Yeah.
Well, that just about brings us down to the end of another one, but before we go, let me thank you for being with us for our tribute to Jim Henson. And we'll be seeing you soon with more Muppet stuff, because that's the way the boss would want it.
Thank you so much for watching this episode of Expedition Hollywood Studios. If you enjoyed it, please do subscribe to join us on upcoming expeditions. What ride scenes would you have liked to have seen included in the Great Muppet Movie Ride? Be sure to let us know in the comments below. If you would like to get more info on upcoming videos or to get in touch with your suggestions, be sure to follow us on Twitter. And a special thank you to our Patreons for supporting the channel. We will see you next time.